guest here this evening. He's not really a guest, because he's an OM practitioner. And he's also an amazing coach, and he does a lot of cool stuff. I'm going to read his bio, and then I'm going to give a little bit about what his lecture is on tonight. So Alexis was born in San Francisco, homeboy. He works with artists, healers, and entrepreneurs struggling with joy, clarity, and true purpose. He has trained and worked in the personal development industry for 15 years. As a spiritual guide and empowerment coach, he works one-on-one with clients and also leads group retreats in the Bay Area and, get this, in Peru. How cool is that? Yeah. His work combines spirituality, personal development, and a whole lot of play. So tonight you're going to get a taste, haha, no pun since it's one piece, I like that. You're going to get a taste of that work, and basically you're going to get led on a journey from the area of disembodied, heady disconnection down into the realm of embodied connection and play, where we're going to tap into our heart. So without further ado, I give you Alexis! We have a camera. So yeah, we're going to be videotaping Alexis. You guys won't be on film, but I just wanted to let everybody know that that is what's happening. So if you do choose to speak or raise your hand or something, that your audio will be recorded. Just so everyone's, yeah? Clear?
Clear. And another question is,
yes.
since life happened and we got locked out, it's a half an hour into it. So I'm wondering if my request would be if you guys are open to stay longer than 9 p.m. Would you guys be open to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, great.
That works great because I spent a lot of time creating a beautiful experience for us, and I would hate for us to miss out on that. So thank you.
All right.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll let you go do your thing.
Yeah.
We'll get some more chairs for our friends here.
I am really happy to be here. And I'm really happy that you guys came. I want to start off with a quote by Rumi. Don't look to where love is missing in your life. Look to the barriers that you've accidentally put up against it. So I'm going to be talking about joy, intimacy, and our greatest ally, shame, tonight. But before I go into that, I want to do a presencing exercise. So to make sure that we're all here, that we've all landed, and that we're all connected. I'll let you know how the evening's going to go. So first we're going to do a presencing exercise that I designed for tonight. And then I'm going to do 15 minutes of sharing my story and why I'm interested in joy and intimacy and shame, which is not something everybody's interested in. And then I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm up to in the world and some retreats that I'm leading. And then we'll do a 30-second break, which will be a hug, to make sure we're all present still. And then we're going to go into an inquiry about what joy is, and what intimacy is, and what shame is. And my intention for tonight is that we all leave nourished, and that we have access to joy and to connection through shame.
Yeah.
You guys up to create that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then at the end we'll do a blessing to send us off back into the world. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to do a presencing exercise. So I created this today. And what we're going to do is to someone next to you, you're going to pick a partner, someone next to you, and you're going to sit comfortably. What we're going to do is we're going to do eye gazing. So we're just going to gaze into each other's eyes with no agenda, just to gaze into each other's eyes. And while you do that, there's going to be a little music that Andy is going to play, and I will say some phrases. The phrases are meant to connect you to your heart. So sometimes when people do presencing exercises, they're like, don't make any faces, like just be present. And if you feel a smile coming on, let it out. If you feel a frown, whatever you feel, just let it flow. And you stay eye gazing, listening to some of the words I say, and enjoy. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, so pick a partner and sit comfortably so that you can sit next to them, so that you can face them. Oh, you don't have a partner?
Juliana, can you partner?
So just take a deep breath. Make sure to take a deep breath and check in with your body. Are your shoulders shrugged? Are you on alert? Are you feeling defensive? If you are, breathe into any area of your body that's stressed. You're on a warm beach in Venice. Got no worries, no concerns. You're just being. Give yourself license to just be. You are light on legs. You are goddess shining. What you're looking for in this life is right here. What you seek is seeking you. Skin to see. We are all drops in a vast ocean of unity energy. Joy is your birthright. We come to enlightenment not by imagining rainbows and unicorns, but by making the darkness conscious. All that inner mess, all that anxiety is ascension fertilizing. All that darkness, all that self-doubt is an opportunity. It's a possibility for you to expand into more joyous and free expressions of yourself. Any kind of shame or aspect of your being that you cannot be with can become your greatest heart teacher. If you can learn to be with these difficult lessons, you can learn to be with anything. We need each other like we need glasses of water. The face you're looking into is the thumbprint of God. Make sure you're taking a deep breath. Okay, now gentle bow to your partner and feel free to hug and thank your partner. Do you guys feel present?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Isn't that just the easiest, nicest, best medicine ever? Should we just do that for all of you? Alright, so I'm going to spend 15 minutes telling you why I'm here and how I got here and how I've come to realize that shame can be our best friend and our access to joy and fulfillment. So, there I am. I'm in Costa Rica, and I'm deep in the mountains, and I'm right by a river. And the moon is full, and it's moon all over the water, and I can see it's 12, it's in the middle of the night, but I can see everything because the moon is so bright. And there's freshwater river, Buenaventura River, and I'm in shorts, and it's warm, and I've just had a delicious meal with a bunch of other love bugs. And I'm there with my girlfriend of 7 years. Paradise. And yet, I feel disconnected, I feel frustrated, and hopeless. Hopeless, because here I am in paradise, and I'm still not fulfilled. And it's her fault. So, my name is Alexis Leiva, and like Juliana said, I work with artists and healers and entrepreneurs that are struggling with joy and their clarity of their true purpose. So, I was born in San Francisco, and to my father and my mother, Cuban father, Mexican grandmother, Cuban father, Mexican mom, I speak Spanish, I speak French, and I have 2 awesome sisters who are the greatest friends and teachers ever. I started a Spanish interpretation business, and I've been running that for 8 years. And I also published a book, so I'm an official author. The book's back there. It's called A Fuller Pulse. And thank you. And I'm also a musician, a DJ, and a hip hopper. I like to talk and rhyme words and produce music. And I've been in the personal development game for 15 years. Basically 2 years into college, I was like, I'm broken and I need to get to the bottom of this. And that's the motivation for getting into personal development and healing modalities. So that's a little bit about me. And life is abundant, and there's so many possibilities and connections, and somehow I did something to end up here, and I'm so grateful. It wasn't always awesome. When somewhere along the way in my childhood, I started to not trust my mom and not trust my mom's love. I felt like it was smothering me, and it was not allowing me to grow. And my dad was completely emotionally unavailable. I had no connection with him emotionally, and that really hurt. There was a sadness that started, and then it grew and it grew. And I didn't know what to do, because I didn't know what was missing. I was just a little kid. And so, not being able to resolve that sadness, I got frustrated. Not being able to resolve the frustration, I started to get confused, like what's life about and what's up with my family, and I feel like my family is just kind of like an image of a family, and I'm not sure if I can trust my mom because she's like so needy, and my dad's like here but not really, and I feel like he's only here out of duty. And then I started to make up these stories about who I was, that they would be acting like that, like, oh, I must not be worth my dad's time, I guess, or I'm not interesting, or it's like I need to do something to impress him, or not being able to resolve that pickle. Then I started to get pissed and listen to Megadeth and Metallica. And lock myself up in my room and just get angry, and then I got angry, and then the anger turned into resentment and rage, and it's my dad's fault and it's my mom's fault. Not being able to resolve the anger, then I started to resign. Like, just resign. Like, I don't actually know what life's about. My family sucks. I don't like my sisters, and I'm not sure what to do. And that resignation started to get deeper. And as that got deeper, I started to withdraw and withdraw and withdraw and withdraw until I started to feel like I was living in a dark cave. And I could be here with people and talking, but inside I was like in a dark cave. And eventually, no one wants to live in that space. No one wants to live in a dark cave. We're social animals. We want to connect. We want to be seen. We want to be able to express ourselves. And not being able to do that for long enough, I got really overwhelmed. And I couldn't deal with the pressure of my situation and the hopelessness of life. And I tried to take my life. I survived. I'm here. And when I woke up with an incredible sense of shame. Shame. Like I had just tried to abandon humanity. I gave up on my parents. I would have left a huge hole in the heart of the people's lives that loved me. And I made myself really wrong for that for a long time. Yeah. So the next 7 years of my life were very destructive. Essentially, I was trying to numb myself all the time. And I divorced myself from myself. Because I couldn't allow myself to feel my darkness and my feelings, and the sense of shame was like, I didn't do something bad, I was bad. And so for 7 years I was involved in destructiveness and drinking and smoking and partying and just whatever could get me to disconnect from myself. And then after 7 years of that, I realized this can't fly, I can't do this anymore. So I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to be all about life now. I'm going to be pure, I'm going to be perfect, I'm going to heal everything and enter in healing modality after workshop, after class, after self-help book, after maybe a trip will do it. Maybe if I meditate long enough, I'll fix myself, and just on and on and on and on. And then I started a relationship. And that's the relationship with the girl I was telling you about in Costa Rica. And I've recently come to realize that this is basically the dynamic I showed up to that relationship with. I'm committed to not being a joyful, satisfied, fulfilled human being. It's your job to prove me wrong. Go. Whoa! 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 What? Wow. Yeah, let me just sit with that for a second. This is a pretty recent realization too, where it's just like, oh my God, like I did. Why did I do that? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, and so 7 years of that relationship eventually got to the point where she was like, this game sucks. Like, you're committed to not winning, I can't win, you're committed to being unhappy, and the relationship ended like that because she chose to go with another man. And now that was like, ooh, like 7 years of the destructive, 7 years of the like, I'm gonna be good, I'm gonna be perfect, I'm gonna fix myself, and then boom, right in the center, the end of that relationship was tragic and painful, and that was 3.5 years ago. Now looking back, that was my awakening. That was my opportunity. Life was like, okay, cool. He's strong enough to get stabbed in the heart. He can survive this now. And then all of a sudden, all the disconnection of my head from my heart, like the whole strategy, the whole disconnected, disassociative, like I can't feel, all of that just like falling out. Very painful, very disorienting, and trying, being this guy who's like, okay, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to be present with whatever, I'm going to feel everything. Not a very fun practice, because I had spent about 20 years pushing down my feelings. So about 2 years of non-stop shit coming up into my consciousness about decisions I had made, people I had blamed. It's like, no wonder we disconnect, no wonder we run from shame. Like, no wonder no one's happy, because when you stop for a minute and really allow yourself to feel, everything that comes up is shit. It's like these ego's greatest hits. I'm not enough, okay, got it. Be still, be still. You're a piece of shit. No, I'm not. And why is that the first thought I have when I wake up? Or, you're broken. I'm aware. That's why I journal 10 pages every day. On and on and on. Till recently, I realized that a teacher that Matt and I both have in Sedona said that all that stuff that gets stuck down there and that leaves you disconnected from your heart and that like convinces your mind that like you're not a good person, that a lot of that is because at some point along the way we were trying to connect with someone, my father, my sister, and they were like, no. And you were like, oh, hurt. Oh, not that? Like, I shouldn't want that? And, oh, I'm bad? Oh, I'm stupid? Oh, I'm retarded? Oh, really? Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna, like, back up a little bit and make you wrong and disconnect. And then you end up in the cave. And then you start, whenever these feelings of like, oh, I want to connect, I want to, oh, last time I did that, that really hurt. Push down. And then you do that for long enough. You push down. Eventually, all that love, all that desire, all that willingness to connect gets compacted till it becomes this like thing. This like separate thing. And then you identify with that separate thing. And then you're stuck and you're fixed and then you're left with all of ego's greatest hits and battling that out within yourself because you're divorced to yourself. And then in our attempt to defend ourselves from ourselves, it's your fault because you said I was retarded. Or, no. It's your fault because you were only here because out of duty. Or, no, it's Vincent's fault because he picked me last on the team, or whatever reason. And then sometimes you turn it on yourself, and then you blame yourself. All the while, you're disconnected, trying to prove yourself to yourself, and desiring what we desire, desiring connection, desiring self-expression, desiring joy, desiring intimacy. And so to loop it all back, I realized that I had been blaming my mother this whole time because of the smothering, because of her taking care of my needs for longer than they need to be taken care of so that I could develop and grow myself. I was left with this conclusion that it's a woman's job to give me joy and to give me fulfillment and satisfaction. And I'm actually not supposed to do that. That's a woman's job. And then I went around life interacting with reality, really, like joy is not my responsibility. It's going to come from the outside in. So I apologized to my mom actually last week, and I told her all of this. And she was like, okay, wow, shocking, self-defensive. And then we got into this hour-long conversation where I was like, I'm sorry, I just made interpretations, and I'm sorry. I was at Vagina Monologues 2 nights ago with Joan, and there was a line in there that said something like, we've been punishing the feminine. And that struck a chord because for a long time I was punishing my mom because it was her job to make me happy and I wasn't happy. So that's why I'm really into this work. That's why I really like working with people who want to expand their joy, who want more clarity, who want healing, and who want to really be living their purpose. And the way that I connect with people is through creating events like this, where people can come together and connect and play and heal and grow and express. And I want to let you know about a couple of events that I'm holding. One is the end of this month, February 27th to 28th, and it's a retreat. It's a 2-day retreat in Emeryville. We're going to focus on play and purpose. And there's going to be delicious food. My mom's going to be the cook. Joan is going to help co-facilitate. Matt is on the support team. It's at a beautiful venue in Emeryville called Guava, which is like a temple. And we're going to do a lot of exercises and games so that we can get connected to our true purpose through joyous play. And you're all invited to the party. And another one is June 2nd through June 12th. We're going on a spirit quest to Peru, where I've been twice, with Kimberly and Matt and a couple others. And that will be in the Sacred Valley of Peru, where Machu Picchu is. And we're going to be working with shamans and ayahuasca and visiting the sacred sites. That's a whole nother conversation. So if you guys are interested in any of those 2 invitations, I have a form back there. You can write your email and name, and I can contact you. My gift to you would be a conversation around what you're hearing for yourself here, what you'd like to work on, and to see if this retreat is something that would serve you. Okay, we're at the 30-second hug part. So just turn to your neighbor and give them a good, heartfelt, generous 30-second hug.
Let the timer start, Brandon.
I'll forget about the timer. It might be like 45.
No play. What do you mean? I can do it at one.
President.
I can do it at one. I'm president.
Yeah. Love, 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 love. Beauty, 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 beauty.
Smile, 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 smile. You guys here?
Play.
Before we get into the inquiry, I'm really curious about you guys. So, let's see. Okay. Yeah, we're good on time. So, my request is that each person say what their name is and something that they're really passionate about in a sentence or less. Matt?
I like to stand up. I'm really passionate right now about fucking things up and being honest and straight about it. I'm serious. All of it.
It's true. It's true.
It's true.
Great at that. Can we go down the line and then back here?
Yeah, I'm not gonna stand. I'm Karen, and I'm really passionate about healing children and the inner child inside of every single adult through emotional release and connection.
I'm Sarah, and passionate about a lot. One thing, about my current healing journey.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I'm Talitha, and I'm really passionate about ridding myself of my shame and at the same time working to heal the planet.
Mm. Thank you.
Heal the planet.
Hey everybody, I'm Justine, and I'm passionate about freeing women.
Thank you.
My name is Greg. I'm passionate about nature and getting people more connected to it through forest therapy walks.
Yum.
Hi, I'm Ariel, and I'm really passionate about helping women experience more freedom and pleasure in their sex lives and relationships.
I'm Joan, and I'm passionate about freedom and an expansion of human consciousness.
And I'm Kimberly, and I'm most passionate about helping people with a really powerful message make more money with less effort by helping them manage the energy of their money.
Hi, I'm Sun, and I'm passionate about working with burned out professionals who are struggling in their job. And the second thing is I'm passionate about self-development.
Like I said, I'm Andrew. I'm currently working, I just work with a lot of men who want to explore the power of their darkness.
Yeah.
I know that one landed in the room.
My name is Amin, and I'm very passionate right now to be a better engaged career.
Thank you.
My name is Bo, and I'm passionate about exorcising my demons and exploring movement through that and through other people.
Thank you.
My name is Jen, and I'm passionate about dancing, just being able to express myself through movement.
Thank you.
I'm Nicholas. I'm very passionate about exploring the possibility of waking up, expressing to the present moment, and using art, painting, and printmaking as a vehicle.
I'm Eric. I'm passionate about creating abstract paintings and sharing those and sharing beauty in general with people.
My name is Annie, and right now I'm passionate about loving all of the parts of myself that feel really hard to love. It's very present in my life, so yeah, and making the human journey okay, all of it. I definitely want to stand. Over here. My name's Carolina, and I'm really passionate about feeling my feelings all the way in my whole body and healing the illusion of separateness through being seen and seeing.
Thank you.
My name is Ray, and right now I'm obsessed with women's ability to make babies. It's really friggin' alien and cool and
Yeah.
Round of applause for all of
Go us! Yeah! Go us!
Back of the house.
Back of the house.
My name is Andy. I'm passionate about technology that feels good to use, and I'm passionate about teaching orgasmic meditation, which is feeling more.
Juliana. I'm passionate about a few things. The first thing is I'm actually passionate about working my 12-step program for food addiction and the joy and clarity that I have because of it. And the second thing is for the past 8 years I've been practicing OM and learning to become an orgasmic meditation trainer and coach, and really have had the process of freeing myself from sexual shame and then helping other people get free there. And then the last thing that I'm super passionate about is just health and wellness overall, and then being imperfect in it too. And I do that through like acupuncture and herbal medicine and massage. So those are my passions. Thank you.
Ooh, thank you. Let's celebrate. So, the topic of shame. Who wishes shame just didn't exist? Who wishes they were turned on all the time? Not turned on. Another way of saying turned on is who wants more aliveness, who wants more connection to their heart and intimacy, right? So the question is, what's up with shame? Why shame? I mean, we've existed for millions of years, and shame is here. So rather than shame and make shame wrong, I say, well, how can shame serve us? How does shame serve us? It hasn't been bred out of the human experience, so it must be serving some purpose. And I'm curious about that purpose. So I want to invite us to be in an inquiry about shame and how it can serve us. So, what is shame good for? Right?
This just came to me, but I feel like in its truest form, like when I feel shame and it's actually like, oh, I actually feel shameful because my truth wasn't that, because my truth was actually something else, and I wish I had acted that way. And that's almost this like check of like, oh, that doesn't feel good, I feel shameful because that's not my truest. So, oh, and yeah, there's whole stories then of like how do we act in those moments of shame, right? Because you can just be, oh, okay, great, I learned, but now we get stuck in it.
And self-abandonment?
I have a request. When you talk, no, that's okay. When you talk, can you please stand up so that we can all hear and just see you?
Self-abandonment.
Self-abandonment.
Yeah, like when you feel shame because you're no longer in alignment. I was kind of echoing what she was saying, but I was saying like sometimes when you've abandoned your center, I'll notice that I feel shame. Like when because I'm seeking validation out here because I've lost my own internal compass.
So shame is like alerting you that you've lost or you've disconnected from your truth or your heart or your... Yeah. Okay. Matt?
Okay.
Then, okay.
So I'm going to pick what I feel like is the low-hanging fruit here, which is that it's for protection as a social being. So it's like, you know, we're not built, we don't have fucking claws and like razor sharp teeth and run really fast, right? We work as in social groups, and so in order to maintain cohesion and dynamics, like we protect ourselves from certain things that would get us cast out of the group. And so shame is a protective mechanism in a world where other people are as dangerous to our survival as being alone is. We draw in those things that won't resonate or we think won't resonate with other people or be accepted. We hide them and keep them safe behind a wall of shame.
So like the shame is a protective mechanism?
Yeah, it's helped us survive in a world where people and the environment are dangerous to us.
Not on a necessarily physical plane, like with the claws, but more of an internal, emotional landscape?
Well, and literally, I mean, right? Like if you didn't have shame and you were just like acting fully self-expressed and that got you excluded from your tribe, right? You'd be cast out into the darkness and you might die or starve, be alone. Versus you be alone inside. You know, I can be alone. I'm cut off. I'm alone in one sense, but I'm still able to relate in the showy, like I look good sense. Whereas this group, we're like tearing that apart, and that's why we notice the shame.
Right.
But you were getting by.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we're all here, so you know, shame hasn't killed us. Joan?
Yeah, I want to take off from where Matt went with it, because I think though, because we experience emotion and because we experience it in our bodies, that we take it, we relate to emotion, we relate to shame, and we relate to happiness, and we relate to fear, like it's a personal phenomenon. Like this is my stuff and it's interior. But if I take off from what Matt said, it's a social phenomena, it's a collective phenomena, it's a how do I get along in community? How do I get along in the group rather than, oh God, I wish I didn't feel this way. You know, I wish I wasn't afraid, and I wish I wasn't embarrassed, and I wish I didn't feel humiliation. But it's got to have some I'm suggesting.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, I don't have a PhD in shame or study of emotions or any of that. But I think it does have some evolutionary worth.
Mm-hmm.
And if I take off from what Matt says, rather than look at, oh, what's my experience of shame, then it does enable me to kind of know the norms of the group that I'm in. Like I can explore the norms of the group I'm in, and if I get too far away from the norms of the group I'm in, I'm going to be embarrassed. This is all, I haven't studied this. This is like from what he said.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is great. Inquiry. There's no right or wrong. And there's no shame in not really knowing what
I'm so embarrassed that I said that.
And one thing I wanted to point to, right, quick, is that we often make separation wrong. Like in our quest to be enlightened, and because there's a unity consciousness in that conversation, that often it's like, if we feel separate and disconnected, we make that wrong. And that's a conversation I've had with you, and don't making separation wrong. Just wanted to point that out.
I have a lot of experience with shame, and yeah, it's just all over the place. And the way I define shame for me is that I feel like I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
That I'd be judged as inadequate somehow, or that something's wrong with me, that I didn't have the right capacity to be able to be in there with other people. Mm-hmm. And yeah, something's wrong. There's some part of me that's wrong, and I don't want to share that because shame, because that would just really reveal my weakness. And that's where shame is hidden. Like I have a visual impairment, and I have a very hard time reading like normal text. And as much as I'm going to tell everybody about it, I don't. Even some people who are very close to me, somehow I fail to tell them about it in a unconscious way or something like that. So this is like my practice to really release that frame, that shame here. So that's my definition.
Thank you, thank you. Two things that came up while you were sharing is that shaming itself, and it's like you feel shame and then you shame yourself because you feel shame. And
yeah, there's a double shame.
Double trouble. And then you're like double stuck. And the practice you're in is something that Matt and I have been practicing a lot, is when I first realized, when I wanted to connect with someone, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this vulnerable thing, And it feels like weakness, but they tell me it's courage, and then I get into a situation and I literally can't access my heart. I'm just like, blah, 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 and it feels really uncomfortable. So a tool that was given to me that Matt's getting ridiculously awesome at is just say what's there. So for me, I'd go out on a date and I'd just be fumbling and strategizing and hiding and this is the image, I want to look at the image, oh no, don't look at me, look at the image, look at the image. It's just say I feel really disconnected right now because I'm trying to impress you and I don't know where this is going. I just want to put that out there because I'm just learning how to speak from my heart, and now I feel seen and weak and I'm scared. And do you want to get sangria? Or
that'd be great.
So I'll use that saying what's there and that is shame, or like the I'm not enough or whatever, using that as access to connection.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what's in the way, then bring it to the light, make it conscious, and then people often are like, whoa, this person's like actually here and they actually just took a risk and now I can be free too. And it's a game changer.
Right.
So that's a little tool I want to throw out there. Just
thank you.
And Karen?
I'll stand.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm Justine.
Justine.
Yeah, and what popped in, and I think it's right for me, is that shame keeps me safe, and it keeps me small. And being small is safe. And it keeps me going back into my room where I was sent and where I was spanked, and it's safe in there. And I noticed that I did it right here before. That I stayed small by A, sitting, B, not standing, even though I want to be a leader, but I sat. And not telling you what I'm really passionate about specifically so that you could actually hear it. I curtailed it because I'm ashamed. Yeah.
So what would you have said? What would you want to say?
What I would want to say is that I'm passionate about this new thing I'm doing, which is that I'm working with women who are in a love affair and who are struggling and in pain in it. And that is freeing women. Freeing women is an underlying, but it's very general. And I'm passionate about helping them to be clear in it and to have the courage to really live their desire, to live their real desire. Now, why am I ashamed to say that to you guys? A, people shouldn't be having love affairs. What the fuck are you doing? Helping people to have love affairs? Like, what is that? B, are you having, are you like stuck in an illicit love affair, that's what your problem is, and why do you think this is so interesting? So, and who are you to stand up and say your what do you do statement, as if this were a business networking event, just try to make it soft. And then I felt more ashamed that I hadn't done it when other people got up and simply said their business, their stuff. So there was a lot of shame wrapped up in that. And it was all to keep me small because I don't want, that's that part of me that doesn't want to be big and be out about what I am up to.
Wow. That is a perfect example of making the darkness conscious. Like bringing light to what we're trying to hide, and then you transmute that which you're trying to hide. And then it's not hidden. And then you're like, oh, I'm back online. Kimberly. Oh, and then Karen.
So I believe that shame is a really great teacher. And the two places that it seems to live is in the heart. This has come up a lot where everybody's talked about feeling shame as being an embarrassment, about being seen, about who we think we are or not, or whatever that lives in the heart. And in other places in our root, where we don't feel safe if we feel ashamed. Like we'll be cast out or we'll be something. And so those are the two places that it lives energetically. And I have a lot of experience with shame. I was born and raised as a Jehovah's Witness and sexually abused until I went to kindergarten. So a lot of practice releasing all kinds of shame. But as an energetic healer, I know that those are the two places that it lives. And by accessing that energetically, you can help release and heal that shame.
And you've been able to access and release?
Yeah, well, I can easily talk about having been sexually abused by my alcoholic father from 2.5 to 5, and all kinds of other things that without any shame or
Perfect example of And what's beautiful about that is, I don't know if you guys have heard, your mess becomes your message. Yeah. And so like the mess you have to go through, in a way, is like the thresholds you have to go through to get to a place where you can connect with other people, serve other people from your place. And along the way, you probably developed a lot of empathy and compassion for other people's struggles. Karen?
Yeah, shame. So we're talking about what the reason for shame is, and what I hear and what I feel is that it's confusing. That sometimes it feels like, is this shame telling me I'm off the mark for myself? Or is this shame, like you were saying, Joan, I love this, not personal, but really it's a social emotion. It's an emotion we wouldn't have if we weren't in society. And it's, as you were saying, like it's actually a vestige. It's like our tail, you know, we don't need it anymore. We don't need to stay, well, not in America, you know, there's some other countries. But so that's the confusing thing for me. When I experience shame, I'm like, okay, well, does this mean I am doing something wrong? Or if I just say, well, this is just because this is what I've been conditioned through humanity to feel, so that I don't, you know, make waves, then am I actually going to not be following myself if I listen to that? Am I going to go off, am I going to go crazy? And so then all the thinking about it, then it comes up, and it's sort of like, well, what to do? What do I do when it comes up? You know, what do I just do? Even just saying, you know, so what it sounds like is just, okay, I'm feeling ashamed, and kind of being with the sensation, non-judgmental is what helps, but I don't know. I think that shame is really confusing. I remember working with a kid when I was in grad school, and he's autistic, and he like we were going through different feelings, and he was like, when did you feel happy? When did you feel angry? When did you feel sad? When did you feel ashamed? He's like, I never felt ashamed. I was like, good, good. His mom was like, is that a problem? I'm like, no. You know, so I have a belief that it's not useful to us anymore. And I do want to get rid of it. And maybe that's wrong for me to feel that way. It doesn't feel good in my body, and it's confusing. And it's not the same as when I'm like, oh, I went off the mark, I went beyond my boundary. It's something very different. I'm bad and I'm wrong.
Yeah. Brene Brown, I just heard her. Have you guys? Yeah. Brene Brown. Oh, God. Like,
Everything.
Wow, everything. Vulnerability, TED Talk, so powerful, changed my life. And listening to Shame, which I listened to on the way here on the bridge, and I was like, whoa. Anyway, so watch that if this conversation would serve you. And she talks about the difference between shame and guilt. Guilt is, I did something bad, but then shame is personalizing it and saying, I am bad. And the feeling I'm left after your share is, like, we all raised our hand, like no one, who wants more shame in their life? Right? So like no one wants it, and I think, this is just my opinion, the best we can do is learn how to be with it and not make it wrong. 3.5 years ago, when like all this shame around like how I was in that relationship, all this shame about how I treat, all of that, it was like, I'm just going to keep feel everything, hashtag feel everything, feel everything. I hate feeling everything because what comes up is always all this dark stuff. And in the last 3.5 years, the intensity of whatever I was resisting for so long was just like, the way I think about shame is like a little kid inside of yourself that at one point got cut off and was told we're bad and go grounded to your room. Shame is like a little kid tugging at your shirt, and you're just like, stop, I'm trying to like be an adult, do my work, I'm trying to be credible, I'm trying to like, and then this shame. Eventually, it's like, okay, what do you want? And it's just like, oh, I have your attention. I got hurt Cause my sister called me a retard, and I'm not over that, and she's wrong, I think, and am I okay? Is it? Can I be okay? And then you're like, oh, lovely little, oh, like, so shame was just like trying to get your attention, like a pain signal, and then you give yourself, you give an aspect of your being the attention, and eventually it's like, oh, okay, so, want to play? Or like, what are we doing? And then so, what I'm noticing in my being is less and less of shame, and less of like pockets of being that I'm pretending are dead or shouldn't be. I hope that serves you in some way.
It was really fun.
Whatever it was fun.
So I hear everyone, but at the same time, I think circumstances of life for each individual might be different. I've been in recovery for 16.5 years. I'm a recovering gambling addict.
Mm-hmm.
For me, there's a certain amount of fear and shame that is very healthy.
Mm.
And I'm distinguishing between expression and acting on it.
Mm.
So actually how, for me, the 12-step works is that the old saying that you're as sick as your secrets.
Oh yes, you're as
So
sick
it's
as your
very
secrets.
awesome to talk openly about all the desires and all that stuff.
Yes.
But at the same time, the notion that I need to be fearless, actually I respect the illness that I have because I don't want to go back to the prison and send it to death. And same thing again for me applies regarding shame. I'm totally fine with an open conversation about all my desires as much as they might be really off the wall. But at the same time, I need to have a minimal amount of understanding of expression
versus action. So there again, fear, we fear, and often we're like, we want to be courageous and not fear, but fear can be our ally because it's saying, careful, last time you did this.
Sometimes it's helpful.
It's helpful. Hot stove, don't touch.
I read somewhere that like in the brain, if we're looking at the brain, that when you're in like an addictive space, or that the same parts of the brain are highlighted as when you're in shame, and that they're unable to really tell which comes first because they're so close to each other, and that in addiction, oftentimes we're not getting what we need here, nourished from this. So I'm thinking that something's going to make it better, and like that it's almost like an attachment problem that didn't come from our primary caregiver. And so what's hurt in relationship is also healed in relationship. And like even Annie and I before we came, I'm not going to share your material, but we were just noticing how like when you share it, you literally like the minute, and Renee talks about this, when you bring it into the light, shame can't live in the light. Like it immediately it just dissolved back. And when we bring it back into relationship, when you speak to what you're feeling in front of someone, it falls away. So I don't know. I think that piece around that in the brain was really interesting.
Thank you.
I guess the thought that just came into my mind when I hear you is this: shame can only live in the light when someone's also open to hearing that. Like as people were talking, I was thinking a lot about communal shaming, like when people decide to shame someone and how like detrimental that can be. So like I can come up to a group of like, I don't know, a group of people and tell them all my secrets, and some people can't hold that. Some people aren't ready to be like, I want to drop shame. So knowing that like flow of like, okay, this feels really safe to enter into opening up in this way, because versus like opening and then like, oh, this is really scary that I just opened up so much to you and you can't hold. It's like,
dramatizing in a way. It could be that.
And so just, and like personally thinking about like embracing that acceptance of like, where do we culturally or individually shame other people? Is that really what I have shame too? I'm not that shame. But it's really like, okay, we can do that.
Thank you. Does anyone, Sarah?
My heart, I'll try that on. Heart talking thing, my heart's like beating really fast and I have this knot in my stomach. For me, shame is definitely this internalized projection of parts of myself that I reject, and primarily because I assume that other people will reject them and that'll make me unlovable. And I think, Joan, you said something about, but there's this element that it's not personal, but then at the same time, it is personal, because at what point does what I think makes me unlovable, do you agree with? And so it's like, if I stand up and I say, oh, well, I murdered an entire village, are you guys be like, yes, we're still unconditionally loving, Probably not, I didn't. I did not murder, I haven't murdered anybody. Just
I think the idea is to be able to say, you made a mistake, you're not bad.
Right.
And like, can we like come even to a murder and say, I love you?
Exactly.
There's no shame in who you are.
Exactly, because when we're connected with Source, then there is that unconditional, like in the eyes of, whatever, like unconditional love as an entity, there is nothing wrong. It's just all part of this, it's just all part of one's path. It's just all part of the journey. And yet at the same time, the relationships that I have in my life, if they all knew, then it's a completely different, and then that divorce of who I am with who they think I am, how does that all come together?
Yeah, I think what you said, Matt, about shame can serve you is not always, not making shame wrong doesn't therefore mean that you're going to share everything with everyone at all times, because there's contexts and timing and yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you haven't murdered anybody. So it's time, and I wish we could keep talking forever, but it's time, and my heart is full of possibility and good vibes and pride. Like, I'm proud of all of us for coming to a talk about shame and being able to see how it can serve us. I honor all of you guys and thank everyone for coming here tonight. Wherever any of us are on the path, that's where we are. So if we can choose where we are and allow that, then where we are becomes our greatest lover and teacher. So to close, do you guys want to share something? You guys see anything that you'd like to share?
I was just gonna, what do you mean?
About the conversation. I'm sure you have some rich.
Yeah, I'll say something up front
Okay.
when I close. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're awesome. Everyone's awesome. Yeah. Finish up and I'll
Agreed.
come up and it'll be all you.
Okay. So last thing is, in the spirit of our common human bond, I'm wondering if you guys are all open to form an oval right here, and we'll do a closing blessing, and everyone can share something that they're calling in, something that they want more of in their life.
Stacy.
Bottle like that fall over.